Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of Marmore's podcast. Myself Prashant, and I have with me Mr. Karthik Ramesh to talk us through the office real estate market in the GCC region. Hi Karthik.
Hi Prashant.
Karthik, we know that Saudi Arabia has the highest inventory in terms of office space, and it is the largest real estate market in the GCC region, undoubtedly. Now, can you give us a sense of the demand and supply dynamics in the region in recent years?
Sure Prashant. You're absolutely right. Saudi Arabia is the largest real estate market in the GCC due to sheer size and its population. It's one of the biggest countries in the GCC region.
Right.
And they have around 30 million square meters of office, retail and hospitality space. This demand for it is largely driven by the high population in the region. And another key driver for office demand is the government spending. All these GCC countries want to diversify from the oil source of generating revenues to a non-oil source of generating revenues. So now they've started investing in a whole lot of areas such as infrastructure, transportation and so on. So this has created a lot of offices which are being set up across the regions in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the two main cities which we call as the forerunners for office demand are Riyadh and Jeddah. The two cities which we can name as emerging markets are Dammam and Al Khobar. Right. If you look at Riyadh, from a demand perspective, again, the Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which is the body which gives out the commercial licenses for businesses, it has issued around 8,800 odd licenses in 2012, which is a growth of about 19% from 2011, which shows us that there's a lot of demand for office in Saudi Arabia.
True.
But however, from a supply perspective, we feel that the Riyadh market will have a major supply glut over the next couple of years, which is largely due to the fact that the Saudi Arabian government have released a couple of new office projects. That is, these are huge projects like the IT and Communications Complex, the King Abdullah Financial District, and the Olaya Tower. When we talk about Jeddah, which is the second most important city with respect to office real estate, the concerns of oversupply are relatively lower than what it is in Riyadh. The reason for this is that Jeddah is characterized by more of low-grade offices, and the existing businesses which are there in Jeddah are trying to upgrade their offices to grade A or prime range.
Right.
Which is why we think that the property developers have a very good scope of work getting in the form of upgradation.
Sure. No, it's a well-known fact that the demand for office space in the UAE is driven by new commercial licenses issued by the Department of Economic Development.
Right.
Now, can you give us some statistics on the commercial establishment licenses in Abu Dhabi and Dubai?
Sure. We all know that Dubai is trying to transition and it's trying to market itself as the leader in the financial centers in the globe. Yeah. So there is a huge rush for companies to set up their offices in Dubai. Mm-hmm. This is a major reason for the same is due to the free trade regulations, and it's easier to set up an office in Dubai, which is not the case in other GCC countries or cities. The number of business activities we see in Dubai did get a hit after the financial crisis, but we are seeing positive signals over the last couple of years. And the Dubai Department of Economic Development, which is the body again which gives you the licenses for setting up offices, it had issued more than 12,000 licenses into 2012, which is again a 16% growth over the previous year. Now when it comes to Abu Dhabi is also trying to ramp up its office real estate market, and it has increased the number of commercial licenses which has been giving over the last couple of years. It issued around 8,000 commercial licenses in 2012, and as per our calculations, the total number of establishments in Abu Dhabi is close to 87,500.
So we are seeing a phase of expansion.
Yes.
When it comes to the office real estate market in the UAE region.
Definitely,
right?
Definitely.
Now talking about Qatar, there's a lot of fanfare in Qatar as it is going to play host to the FIFA World Cup 2022, and preparations are on in full swing in this region. Now can you brief us on how this is going to impact the demand for real estate in Qatar?
Sure. But however, I would like to backtrack a little bit and saying that although the FIFA event is a big thing for Qatar, it is not the primary driver for the Qatari real estate, office real estate market. Mm-hmm. The Qatari government on the whole is trying to, again, like the other GCC economies, they're trying to diversify away from the hydrocarbon generation of revenues. So it has started investing a lot into infrastructure and other services as well. So the government of Qatar is we feel is one of the main drivers of the office real estate market in Qatar. They have set up a lot of financial free trade centers, which entices businesses globally to come and set up their offices in Qatar, in Doha primarily, which is the main district in Qatar, because they get perks in the form of tax breaks. Now, coming back to your original question on FIFA 2022, the construction engineering sector is also playing a major role in boosting up the demand for office sector in Doha. International infrastructure firms which have won the bid for the various activities which is related to the FIFA World Cup, that is building stadiums, building roads, building bridges, and other stuff. They are trying to establish their branches in Qatar so that the work can be done easily.
Now, we all know that challenges go hand in hand with opportunities. Now, what according to you are the major challenges faced by the real estate sector in the GCC countries?
Well, GCC faces the same challenge which any other region in the globe would face. The main challenge which we see in GCC countries is the rising cost of construction. Yeah, of course, most of the materials are imported in GCC because of low manufacturing bases in the region. If you see cement, there's a huge surge in cement prices over the last couple of years which you've seen, which will definitely have a huge impact on the cost of construction. Apart from cement, you have iron, you have other materials which are used in construction, which is also going up. Unskilled labor is again a big reason for the rising cost of construction, because most of these countries depend on expatriates to build these houses. And expatriates don't come at a cheap cut these days.
True.
So that's again a major challenge for the GCC region. The second one is, again, as I said earlier, there's a huge risk of oversupply which is being created in the entire GCC region. GCC economies believe that they'll be able to generate a lot of income through diversification of their revenue sources. However, if we see another major economic crisis like we did in 2008, this is going to create a huge risk of oversupply situation in the entire GCC region, which will definitely impact the office real estate to a great extent. So this is another major challenge or a risk. More than a challenge, it's a risk which we see in that region. Third one is, again, government regulations. We all know Dubai is relatively open when compared to the other GCC economies. So you are able to see a lot of developments in office real estate in the Dubai region. However, that is not the case in the other GCC countries, where the regulations are hampering the growth of the new constructions and new building activities in those respective regions. Credit or liquidity is the next major challenge which we see in the region. The global financial crisis and various new Basel norms coming on a daily basis. There is a challenge for property developers to gain access to liquidity. So low liquidity means you will not be able to invest a lot into the office real estate infrastructure. If we see a recurrence of the financial crisis, credit is going to get squeezed, and this again further hampers the growth of office real estate in the region.
Sure. Thanks, Karthik, for your insights on the subject.
Thank you so much, Prashant. My pleasure.